Today's journey has taken me across the beautiful Isle of Skye. I've taken a boat trip from the village of Elgol to Loch Cruisk, seen a mountain rescue dog in action in the Cuillin Mountains, and got acquainted with the Gaelic language in Portree. Now I'm heading southwards to Torrin. Claymore, Highlander, Allen, Balquhidder, all splendid sounding Scottish names, but they're not clans or patterns of tartans, they're the names of traditional Scottish swords. Many fierce battles have been fought in Scotland. These ancient struggles all featured the clash of metal on metal, as brave men put their lives on the line for their cause. And those brave men were only as good as the swords they wielded. I'm about to meet a man who is passionate about the art of sword making. Rob Miller has been making authentic Scottish swords on Skye for the last 20 years. Hi Rob, nice to meet you.
Oh, hi Helen. Right.
Now, why on earth did you decide to start making swords?
Well, about 20 years ago, when I first came to Skye, I was looking for something to do with my life at that point, and I'd always had this interest in arms and armour and all the rest since I was a kid. So I thought, you know, it would be fun to find out who makes swords, how do you go about that, you know, what is the basic way of starting this as a job. So, you know, I taught myself.
What do people use them for, though?
People use these in living history, they use them in live-action role play, they use them as heirlooms and things to pass down through a family.
They're not just ornamental, though, are they? Because that looks pretty sharp.
That's a dirk. It's a traditional Scottish knife. A lot of these back in the 16th, 17th and 18th century were actually made from broken sword blades. So if you imagine this being the end of a sword, never anything should go to waste, particularly good steel. So it would be reforged and remade into a knife, which could be utilised in one hand whilst the sword was in the other.
That is really cool, but this is a piece of kit. I mean, how long does it take you to make this?
Days and days and days, lots of work in there. This is a claymore, so it's a big two-handed sword, traditional sort of Scottish design from 14th up till 16th century, and even some of these were even turning up at the Battle of Culloden, so they'd be passed down through generations. Just a good sword is a good sword.
But the detail on this is phenomenal. I mean, there were 3 horses in that circle. That's the size of a 20p piece.
Intricate work, yeah. I do that. I carve these pieces in wax and then cast them in silver, personalising every piece, so it makes it something a bit special.
Wow.
You see this blade?
That's unusual, isn't it?
You're looking at about 250 different layers of steel. So these have all been forge welded together, and you're seeing the pattern come in. It looks like bark within a tree. The important thing about this blade, like every decent sword blade, it's actually passed through the fire. It's gone through that whole process of being forged, hardened, tempered, and brought into accordance with the will of the smith. So the next place we should go is into the forge. This is where all the critical work goes on. This is heating up the steel, bringing it to the right temperature, and then getting it to form under the hammer, breaking it up into crystalline, dense structures all the way along the edge. What we're doing first of all is forming the point of the blade, and then we're going to go and actually give it the integrity, the internal structure that it needs.
So this is kind of the heart of the sword?
This is the elemental part of the work. You introduce fire into the blade, you open up the whole structure of it, and you break it down and repack it into denser crystals all the way along the edge. You've got all the elements at work here. You've got fire, you've got water, you've got air, and you have earth, usually represented by the coal.
So can I have a go at this then?
Please do.
How long have I got to work on this?
The saying is strike while the iron is hot. It's critical here. You've got about 20 seconds of working time. So get in there, do all your business. Okay, here goes. Bash, bash, bash.
It's going dark, which means it's going cool.
That's right.
So I've got to get it back in the oven.
Up in there, yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay. You've done this for over 2 decades. Yet you still smile when you talk about swords. What is it that makes you get in that shed every morning?
There's something really primal about this. Working with fire, you know, and being able to influence the shape of the whole structure of a piece of steel just through the hammer, through the wheel, and through the anvil here. These are primal tools. It's a primal job. It's one of the first things that people learn to do, metalworking.
Right, and on that note, let's get to work, Skelton. So I'm going for the point first, yeah?
Yeah.
And back in, yeah? Right, I need to strike while the iron's hot because it's red hot. Okay, 1. I totally see what you mean. There is something really primal about it, isn't it? And you kind of feel, my sword. My Isle of Skye journey has been truly elemental. It began on the water at Elgol and continued amongst the earth, air and alpine ridges of the Cuillin Mountains. I met a dog trained to save lives and found an ancient language thriving here. Now my journey has come to an end, forging steel in fire to make an original Scottish sword. And there it is. Well, thank you, Rob. I really enjoyed that. And do you know what? It's actually quite rewarding being part of crafting something that's got so much heritage and something that's so symbolic. This is a really fitting way to end an incredible journey.
Auction lots that push the bids higher and higher on Flog It in 5 minutes. Just ahead of that, the tide is high next on BBC Two in Coast.